Welcome back to Sports and Spirits, a show where we talk about sports and, well, you guessed it, spirits.
Yeah.
Today's spirit for the weekend. It's one of the goats. Not sure why it's a goat. A lot of hype.
A lot of hype.
A lot of hype on this bad boy. But this is Blanton's,
Yeah.
a bourbon that was made popular by Elmer T. Lee himself.
Yes.
This is the first single barrel bourbon,
Yeah.
according to the lore. We'll get into more of that later. If you wouldn't mind taking a quick second to like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to jump right into some NFL forecasting for this upcoming week.
Yeah.
Things are getting exciting.
Yeah. It's, kind of getting into that home stretch of games where every single game has way more impact than, they feel that way compared to, early parts in the season. Obviously every game matters, but, as you're watching this, it's Thursday and we're watching the Detroit Lions hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Really, really big Thursday game here.
Huge.
Both teams, obviously, potential wild card, in the NFC. You got two teams coming off, some big games, one with a big loss, one with a big win this past Thursday on Thanksgiving. So both teams are obviously have something to prove here. And whenever these two teams play, expect it to be high scoring, expect it to be controversial, expect it to be,
one of those games that could decide wild card seeding or home field advantage. All that stuff's starting to happen.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff's happening as the season progresses because you're seeing who the legit contenders are.
Right.
And when the legit contenders are taking off, I look at it as playoff atmosphere. Like, that's my mentality.
Sure.
If I'm a player, this is a game, I'm treating it as, win or go home. That's my mentality, and I don't know how everybody else looks at it, but that would be my approach as a player. Let's just go out and win it. And, the problem is usually only one team does,
right?
Unless they tie. So, which we've seen happen this year. So,
yep. Which is so dumb.
Yes.
To me.
But
I can't
Dallas and the Packers got a tie this year. So it is what it is. But
craziness.
Yeah. Well, that's our Thursday game. No Friday football for us this week.
Oh, man.
But,
man.
Yeah, transitioning into our Sunday slate.
Sunday!
Yeah, you have our hometown Vikings here hosting the Commanders. This could be a potential return of Jane Daniels. We probably won't know pretty much until, Friday or Saturday in terms of what his actual status for Sunday's game is. As a viewer, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him back.
Right.
As a fan of the, maybe the Vikes hopefully getting a win. I hope he doesn't play.
Right.
But either way, that will be something that will be discussed as the week progresses. But this is a return of McCarthy is what they're saying.
Yep.
Sounds like JJ is going to be back, off the concussion protocol. So I'd love to see JJ McCarthy versus Jaden Daniels. Like, that would be what I want to see on paper.
So then the question is it worth risking him?
Is worth it.
Before the playoff push.
For
the Commanders.
Well, they're not a playoff team.
They're not.
I mean,
so then neither is the Vikings. So it doesn't matter. It's just a game to have fun.
So here's my question for you. So, we just talked about this past week, and it was probably mostly talked about in the public eye is, was it smart to have Joe Burrow come back? Because they're talking about the Bengals not being a playoff contender, right?
Sure.
If you're a Commanders team, if Jane Daniels, they're not a playoff team this year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is it worth having him come back, or you ride Mariota the rest of the season and let him get 100% healthy? My thing as a competitor is tough to tell a competitor that you can't play.
Right.
Because, I mean, obviously, first of all, a lot of these guys get paid a lot of money to play.
Yep.
And if they're at 75% healthy, they should play.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it as we progress here. Justin Herbert fractured a bone in his hand in the first quarter.
Yep.
He played the whole game. I mean, there's an element to the competitive drive and will to win. And Jane Daniels is a competitor. Your
jersey sales are going to take a hit if you're not out there.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're making money off that stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's true. I mean, so it's just one of those things. I don't know if that's the factor, but
the jersey sales probably isn't the factor, but
it's an element.
Competitive, it's definitely an element. It definitely plays into a lot of the stuff that they're all doing. I mean, as a team owner,
yes,
I want to be selling product.
Yes,
I want to be selling my best players on television slots because that's how I'm going to get the best ads. I'm going to be selling a lot more of his jerseys if I have him on the team as one of my better players, especially in the quarterback position. It's that's the player.
That is the guy, yeah. So either way, it'll be one to, as the weekend progresses, to keep an eye on what happens with who's in, who's out. That could change the matchup entirely. nonetheless, it'd be one to watch on Sunday. Also, in the same time slot, you have the Ravens.
Oh, man.
Hosting the Steelers. And they play each other twice before the season's over here.
Yep.
So this could be one of the few games that, is like kind of that deciding matchup of who wins this division.
Not only that, but for both teams, what's the deal with the coaches?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're coming off tough losses and somebody has to be put to blame.
Right.
We have talked about it that both these coaches are on the hot seat.
They're really on the hot seat.
And I mean, this could be a game where the winner keeps his job and the loser by the end of the season might lose his job.
Yep.
And it's just tough because these teams have the build, they have the will to win, they have the guys to do it, but something about just the way their season's gone has just not been, super fandom supported, in the limelight. So nonetheless, it's going to be an interesting one. Probably the most high-scoring, talented game that you're going to see on the weekend.
Most physical, for sure.
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah, so either way, but it's going to be a good one either way. But also, you also have the Bills.
Yep.
Hosting the Bengals in a matchup of another instant QB quarterback classic. Like, anytime that these two guys play, Burrow versus Allen.
Before last week, I would say this was going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, what's going to happen here?
Yeah. It's crazy how that week-to-week thing can change your mindset. The only thing that, bodes well is that playing in Buffalo, it's going to be a cold game.
For sure.
It's going to be cold. And luckily for the Bengals, they play in cold weather as well. So it's not something that they're not accustomed to. It's going to be a good game. I think you're going to have one of those. It's either going to be depending on, as long as it's not snowing, you might have a high scoring affair. But if it's snowing, you're going to have more of that ground and pound action, James Cook versus Chase Brown kind of thing.
It looks like there's a 35% chance of snow.
There's a good chance of
34 degrees.
Yes.
Yikes.
So either way, we'll see. That could be rain. That could be snow. It could be whatever.
It's like right on the edge.
Yeah,
it could be a slushy mess.
So that doesn't bode well for throwing the ball.
No.
So also you could see the return of Dalton Kincaid, which would be really important for the Bills. They're young superstar tight end.
Yep.
They could really use the weapon over the middle. They've really struggled to throw the ball lately. So either way, a good game to watch. And as we transition into what I believe will be the game of the week,
NFC North battle. And this is like the biggest rivalry in the NFC North.
Oh yeah, it might be the biggest rivalry in football.
Could be.
I mean, let's be honest, it's close. But I mean, in the afternoon slate, what we're talking about, you have the Packers hosting the Bears at Lambeau.
The Bears.
Hey, what could be a game that, they play each other twice in the next 3 weeks? We've highlighted that these are the teams to beat in the NFC North here, and the winner of this could be potentially the winner of the division. I mean, you're talking about a Bears team right now. They're number 1 seed in the NFC.
I'm taking the Bears. They seem to be just turning it up here. Yeah, I'm taking the Bears all day long.
You know what? I'll go Packers in this one.
Oh, wow.
I'll go Packers.
Tune in next week.
To see who
was right.
And it's only just because I feel like they've been tested in so many different ways that at some point that test fails. Hypothetically, yes, don't get me wrong. They are on a hot streak. They're playing really good football. Just something about playing in Lambeau in December is just really hard.
It does have its lure.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about this matchup in 2 weeks from now in Chicago, it's a different atmosphere, but in Lambeau, it's going to be a must-watch game.
That's the thing about both these teams is their home field has such a big impact.
Yes. And that's the whole element with playing outside and having the nostalgia and just the whole thing about the atmosphere being so drastic. But either way, it's going to be must-watch TV. You have to tune in, even if you're not an NFC North fan. You're just a fan of good football. But yeah,
it's another game with light snow, temperatures in the mid-20s.
Yes,
those hits hurt a lot harder when it's that cold.
And and both teams got great running games, so you're going to see a lot of that. And the Bears coming off that big rushing performance this past week, you never know what you're going to see on this one. But and maybe more of a offensive explosion. Cardinal team and Rams. You can kind of see that both these teams are coming off tough losses, and this could be a high-scoring affair. Being that you're playing indoors versus playing, outside in the cold. This could be one of those 38 to 27, kind of high scoring matchups.
Yep.
The spread's probably pretty big in this one just because the Rams obviously are significantly better record wise than the Cardinals are. But This is going to be one where a lot of fantasy points are scored. So
Where's this one at?
I believe it's in at Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I believe it's in Arizona. So either way, it's indoors.
Yep.
But either way, that'll be one to tune into just in terms of fantasy for a lot of people. There's a lot of big players in that one. And then on your Sunday night slate, obviously there's a lot more games, but we're going to talk about just the last couple here.
Just the heavy hitters,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
In our opinion, the heavy hitters.
Yeah. You got Sunday night, you have the Chiefs hosting the Texans and a matchup of two great defenses and a potential great quarterback duel. My question to you is, do you like the Chiefs at home here?
I always like the Chiefs at home.
You know what? I'm going Houston.
He would.
I'm going the Texans. I think there has to be something said about how good this defense is.
Sure.
And when we've seen the Chiefs struggle is they can't move the ball efficiently. And that's usually because they can't move the ball through the air. You know, they don't have the running attack that they once did, and they've had some injuries on their offensive line that really puts a lot of suspect question marks in terms of, is Mahomes going to make it through the game?
True.
You know, just with injury, because like the Texans, they rush the passer.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a lot of guys that can sack that quarterback, and
they're pretty brutal on that.
They're pretty good. And so this is going to be one of those that, I know it's going to be a cold weather game. Stroud historically has played really good against the Chiefs. He's lost a couple close ones. I think he gets this one done.
Kansas City won their most recent battle.
Yes, they did.
And I think they're going to do it again.
Okay. We'll see next week.
Next week.
But either way. And then probably the one where we have to monitor literally up till game time is Monday night. You have the Chargers hosting the Eagles. You have a lot of things you're going to have to monitor in this one. You had Justin Herbert. He broke a bone in his he fractured a bone in his left hand. So he had surgery on Monday. So they're saying he's listed as day to day. So it sounds like it might come up all the way up until pregame, whether or not he's going to play. And same with Amari and Hampton, the superstar young running back. He's coming off that just really gruesome ankle injury.
Yep.
And so he is hoping to potentially be back here. The thing to monitor is whether or not he's going to be back in a limited capacity, whether he's going to be 100 full go. Because we saw this last week. You can run the ball on Philly.
Right.
And if he's back, they can run the ball on Philly with him at running back. So if he's back, I'm locking him in. But either way, how do the Eagles respond after a tough loss to the Bears this past week? That's the question.
That is the question. And Vegas seems to think that they'll do it.
They got him favored
3.5
points. Yeah. 2.5, 3 points.
So they must have something in there. The Chargers are meh anyway, at best.
Yeah, 8-4 is no slouch.
Yeah, but it's the NFL. It doesn't matter what your record is anymore.
Yeah, I guess. That's true.
Just look at the Bills last week.
That is true. So we'll see either way. That'll be one to tune into. There's obviously a few other games in the docket we didn't talk about. One being Colts-Jags. That's obviously for that division. That's going to be a big one. See if the Colts can bounce back. But Jacksonville, Jacoby Myers has been good since they made that trade for him. So he's been fun to watch. Otherwise, that's kind of a prediction of some of the games to highlight to look out for you this weekend on the NFL slate. And
it's always tough coming off Thanksgiving weekend and then coming into the weekend following because it's just
just doesn't live up to the same hype.
We got some more buys going on, so there's not as many games.
There's a lot.
It's just the post-Thanksgiving slump.
Plus,
now's when things start heating up.
Right.
Playoff implications, where people are going to be seated, things are going to start getting exciting in that way. So there's always things to look forward to. Speaking of looking forward to something, we've got ourselves a little bit of Blanton's.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Now, this is one of those bottles that are hard to find. As of late, becoming a little bit easier to find.
At least here in Minnesota.
Yep, at least here in Minnesota. Yeah, maybe where you are, they're just always around.
Comment below where you're living.
Yeah. Nobody here in Minnesota has been able to find them for the last 4 or 5 years, probably. And now they're dropping a little bit more often.
Yep.
Then, it's still not a lot, but they're obviously not sitting on the shelf, but they're around more than they used to be. And it's a hype bottle.
Yeah.
Because for me, well, you know what? We'll just try it.
Yeah. And then we'll dive in.
We'll dive into why this is a hype bottle. Okay. Now, this bottle showed up in a really famous movie Good old John Wick. After he got shot up, he was at the hotel, and this was his medicine of choice. Their bottle is incredible. Like the shape of the bottle. Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a grenade style bottle. It's got the horse on top. If you don't know, every topper has a letter on it.
Yep.
And there are different toppers, and the horse and rider are in different positions with a different letter that spells out the word BLANTONS.
Yep.
So you can collect all of them. So that's probably part of the
allure.
Hype and everything around it is like, I want to collect all the letters around this thing so I can spell out BLANTONS.
Yeah, and then they send you a little display piece once you do.
Yep. You got a little stave with all the cutouts to put in the word BLANTONS.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. But this bad boy, again, is the first ever single barrel, according to whoever's story came up with it, coming in at 93 proof.
Yep.
This is from Rick number 69 in Warehouse H. So barrel number 117, sorry. Again, yeah, 93 proof, first single barrel offering by Buffalo Trace and, at the time, master distiller Elmer T. Lee. Rest in peace.
Yes.
So why is this such a hype bottle, and why is the hype, or why is it not?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I don't have an answer for that. I think they've done their elements of in the market share relative scarcity.
Yep.
Obviously, I'd be curious what somebody online, or at least you guys' thoughts would be in terms of what you would be willing to pay for a bottle.
Right.
Because it's one of the most scrutinized discussion topics ever.
For sure.
I believe MSRP is around, well, it's, I don't know, 70 or $75 right about now
Probably.
in the world.
Yep.
Maybe 80. If you find it for that, it's very rare.
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably see it in a lot of places upwards of, $200 occasionally, which is crazy to me.
It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not a $200 bottle of whiskey. I can tell you that right now. But
just off the sip I just had.
yes.
It's flat.
Yep.
I mean, it's okay.
Yes.
It's your quintessential bourbon-y whatever, but there's not a lot of complexity. Again, it's only 93 proof.
Yep.
You get your caramel.
Yep.
You get your charred oak flavors. The finish is decent.
Yep.
The mouthfeel is subpar. But yeah, it's BLANTONS. So there's just hype that comes with it for some weird reason, and I don't get it. By the sip that I just had, I'm like, why?
Yeah. I think in terms of the comparison to like other things, it's like BLANTONS to whiskey is like Jordan Brand to shoes.
Right.
Or like Jordan Brand to Nike.
Yep.
Like it's their cream of the crop in theory.
Right.
And like to me, it's not even their cream of the crop.
Right.
And so it's just so fascinating to hear everybody's opinion because everyone's is so different.
Yeah.
Some people think that this is the best juice they can get.
Yep.
Like they truthfully believe that like I couldn't drink a better juice. And I think at the proof point, you could sit there and drink it a lot.
For sure. And that would be interesting to kind of get other heavy hitters at that same proof point to see where this kind of shook out.
Right.
Like maybe at this proof point it is, but it's still I wouldn't say it's worth a higher price point.
Correct.
Maybe it's the huntable bourbon at that proof point in that category.
Sure.
But why are we paying $200 for it? Or why?
Right.
We're not paying $200 for it. Why would people choose to pay $200 for this? I don't know.
And then, out of curiosity, if you did do that, why did you go home happy about it?
Right.
Like
I mean, I guess I can understand it if it's your first time ever having it.
Yeah.
But then to continue doing that, that's where I'd be like, that's a little interesting because there's so many out there that come up close enough to save yourself $160, $180 if you're not able to find it at MSRP.
Yeah, because there's definitely bottles that are very comparable at that proof point that are closer to that MSRP price point that you could find at that price point. So it's a good bottle. It's definitely
good.
It's definitely one to have in your collection. I'm sure. especially if you're a big fan of their juice. But
I'll keep chasing them no matter what.
Yeah.
Like I just will.
Yeah. I mean, until you collect all of them.
Until I collect all the letters. I mean, I haven't been doing a good job chasing them lately, but I'll still keep looking for them. If I see one that has the letter I need, I'll grab it. A lot of people go after these things also for the dump date, too. Like if they have a kid or something like that. And they'll grab the dump date of their child's birth.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then wait to open it until they're 21.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
But different.
It's interesting.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I've never done it.
No,
but
yeah.
there it is.
Cool.
All righty, y'all. That's the spirit of the weekend. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Is this a bottle worth paying secondary pricing for?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'd be interested to know what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. 100%.
For me, I'm going to just be looking for the cheaper options if I can.
Yeah, I think it just depends on, I guess, the amount you want to pay for and what kind of, I guess, extra income you have to spend on.
Right.
If you really, really want it or not.
Speaking of people's fantasies, let's talk about fantasy football.
Yeah. So for a lot of you guys watching this, this is probably the last week of most of your regular seasons.
Yep.
So you're going to have to either go into this week with two different approaches or a combination of the two. Either playing your studs or playing your best matchups because it's win or go home.
Right.
It's really tough sometimes when those things don't align. When you have your studs, let's give you an example. You have CeeDee Lamb this week playing the Detroit Lions. Stud plus matchup.
Yep.
But you have guys that are your studs and not so great matchups.
Right.
Guys like, we'll even talk about like.
Kind of like last week, Justin Jefferson. Didn't really see that coming, but
yeah, not a good matchup.
Happened.
It wasn't a good matchup,
right?
And so like that's the thing you have to decide. And so either have to live and die with just playing your studs and hoping that they produce even in a bad matchup, or you got to play a guy that maybe is in a plus matchup that hasn't been your starter for 13 weeks this year. You have to just think about it this way: if you don't win, you're out.
Right.
Don't leave anything on the table. Don't leave any regret. I mean, it's tough to conceptualize 1 week being that important, but it really is, It
is, because this week I beat him.
Yeah.
And now next week, if he doesn't win, he's out.
That is correct.
I'm already out. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And it comes down to, a touchdown at the one that doesn't score. Like I had Lamar Jackson score 6 points instead of 15, So that's just how it goes. Fantasy's just a tough ball game either way, but you have to watch out. I mean, and especially with this week. This is the last week of buys.
Yep.
You got the 49ers, Patriots, Panthers, Giants. I mean, a lot of good players.
Yeah.
So if you're lucky enough, to, play a team who's got a lot of guys on bye or, has a bunch of their quote unquote better players that are on these teams, all power to you. Hopefully you can take advantage and pick up the big win because they didn't strategize enough to have that, those guys in that last week ready and prepped or have a backup contingency plan. If they do, great, all power to them. They are hoping that they had a good enough record going into week 14 to make the playoffs. But I know a couple guys in my leagues have, stacked 49er players, stacked Panthers players, stacked Patriots players, a couple Giants guys, so like when you have all those guys on that team, it just makes it tough in a win or go home situation because your depth is tested, and if you don't have that kind of depth on your bench to, plug a guy in, it makes for a really tough week for you.
Right.
So either way, it'll be one to watch out for. Some guys on my side or his side that we feel like are worth bench spots, guys that are on that waiver wire that could help you in this playoff run. First, you got Adonai Mitchell and John Mechie, but predominantly Mitchell, wide receivers for the Jets. They have pretty good strength of schedule-wise going into the playoffs, and they've showed that with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback that they have some fantasy value.
Yep.
You got Trey Benson, who potentially should be back either this week or next week for the Cardinals with a very soft postseason rush defense schedule. That could be a guy that's just sitting there because he's been on IR for like 6-7 weeks.
Right.
And then lastly, you got Brendan Strange, tight end for the Jags.
True.
He is a top 5 to 7 tight end rest of season with that target share that he's going to have in that offense. So if he's just sitting on that waiver and you've had guys on your team that have underproduced or whatever, it's worth a stash. Maybe you don't play them this week, maybe not, whatever. But either way, definitely somebody worth playing as the season progresses. And if your guys get hurt, you never know.
Exactly.
Somebody goes down in the postseason, you have these guys that have great matchups. You can, have a guy to slide in there and, maybe have some confidence rather than, oh, okay, I'm scrambling last minute to pick up somebody on waivers. It's like, oh, there's nobody left.
Right.
It's because you didn't plan beforehand. That's important,
Yep.
So just do your best on that. And honestly, best of luck. It's been a crazy season. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the fantasy insight.
Right.
We do a lot of stuff. Check out our shorts as well, where we give you some insight as well. We'll try to do a little bit going into the postseason, hopefully help you win your fantasy championships. There's going to obviously be no more trade deadline, no more of that. Your roster's kind of what they are.
You're locked now.
You're locked now. So, best of luck, and shoot down in the comments, who's got a good team, and we'll see how many of you guys that will watch the video win the championship because of help from us. That'd be awesome. So
let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Well, it's time as the fantasy football season wraps up for most, depending on the league you're playing, obviously. But for most people, this is the last week of it. It's also conference championship time.
Yeah, this is
for the NCAA.
Yes, it is. So this is a big weekend, and not in the fact that there's a lot of games, but they have a lot of impactful games. Mm-hmm. So I believe there's only a total of 9. There's only 9 conference championship games. So very, very, small docket of college football games, but it does start out on Friday.
Yep.
And normally we wouldn't be talking about these, but the reason we are is for the college football playoff. If anybody doesn't know, is that the top 5 teams that with in terms of record and strength of schedule that win their conference championship get automatic bids into the top 12. So they might not be a top 12 team, but one of them gets in. So the reason why we're talking about this is you have, starting out on Friday night, you have 22nd ranked James Madison playing Troy for the Sun Belt Championship. Yes, not teams that we've talked about this season.
Who?
Yeah, but the reason why we're talking about this is that there could potentially be one of these teams that sneak in.
That's crazy.
And because of the way the format is. And then also you have 21st ranked Tulane playing 20th ranked North Texas for the American Athletic Championship. And this one, I believe the winner of that matchup is the team who's 5th, in my opinion. They're the team that finishes as the 5th automatic bid team into the playoff. They won't get a bye. They'll get, they'll probably be like the 12 seed, is my guess.
Yep.
And if that's the case, if you're like 5th ranked, like Texas A&M or, whatever, you're like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. But that's, because that's the way they have it set up, and that's the way the bylaws are written, and that's the requirement. So, a team that maybe is more deserving doesn't get in, but that's just how they have the playoffs set up. They want more teams to have access to being in the championship.
Maybe it's the right way. Maybe it's the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to guess if they get smoked by about 40 points, it's the wrong way.
Yeah. I would say so.
So we'll see. But nonetheless, we'll continue on to Saturday. We got to highlight these 3 big matchups. These have a ton of implication on the playoff. First, at 11 o'clock on Saturday, you have 5th ranked Texas Tech taking on 11th ranked BYU.
It's been a while since we talked about BYU.
Yeah.
A couple weeks now.
This is the Big 12 championship.
Yep.
And the last time we talked about them, they were playing Texas Tech in the game that we predicted Texas Tech to win.
That's true.
And so if you're, a true fan, if you remember that, drop it down in the comments. But either way, Texas Tech is 5th in the nation right now because of that victory. They lost one game. We've talked about it. They have one of the most NIL monies given out by any school in the country. I do love this one in terms of their chances in this one. And it's talked about as BYU potentially, their coach is potentially going to leave to Penn State. So he might take the Penn State job. So something to monitor this week as well, going into the weekend, if that's the case after this week.
Because BYU had a hot start, and then they kind of fell off.
They were undefeated going into that matchup against Texas Tech, and then they lost
after that. It was like
28 to 4, or 28-7, something like really bad. They got smoked. So either way, that was one that we'll watch out. The question is if BYU wins, does Texas Tech stay in, or do they get eliminated?
Right.
That's going to be the question. What does that game look like? So. A lot of things could change. A lot of things with the playoff could change with the winner of that matchup.
You have any interest in this next game?
I might tune in. The game he's referring to is at 3 o'clock on Saturday. This is definitely one that unquestionably has the most playoff implication in terms of who's in, who's out. You have 3rd ranked Georgia taking on 10th ranked Bama. Bama might be the best 10th ranked team in the history of college football. I don't think there's ever been a 10th ranked team with the resume that they have going in.
This is an unbiased opinion, by the way.
This is unbiased. My
100%.
biased opinion, they're probably the 5th best team in the country.
Right.
That's my biased opinion. But here's the unbiased truth. If they lose this game, they could be the best team to miss the playoff in the history of the playoff. I mean, because you're looking at a team that would have 3 losses, unfortunately, on their record, and losing an SEC championship. Obviously, they weigh that as a pretty big priority,
brother.
And they could end up having a couple teams that are in the playoff that they have beaten.
Do you think he'd cry?
No, but it would
He'd
be
cry.
very, very bummer.
He'd cry for sure.
It'd be a bummer.
I'll make sure and record when he cries.
Yeah, fair
if
enough.
it happens.
Yeah,
Okay.
but,
Hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I want Bama to win too, but
Yeah.
if it doesn't,
Yeah, we'll see. But it's the odds are not in their favor. They do play the SEC championship is at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, which is in Georgia. So advantage definitely to Georgia. Home field advantage on that. That's just always where they play that. But Bama also has absolutely dominated this matchup in recent times. I think they've won 9 out of the last 10. So
I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about the Tide. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully
tide be rising.
Hopefully they can keep rolling. And then lastly, to cap off this awesome weekend of conference championship football at 7 p.m., you have number 1 ranked Ohio State against number 2 Indiana. The battle of the unbeaten.
The battle of the unbeaten.
Yes. You don't often get this in college football, that you have 2 teams play the entire regular season and haven't played each other, and then playing in a game that's not the national championship.
Right.
These are 2 teams that are arguably national championship contenders or favorites. I honestly believe even if the team loses, I wouldn't even drop them a spot. The only thing that would change that is if Georgia beats Bama.
Yep.
If Georgia beats Bama, Georgia would move up to the 2 seed for me, just because obviously with the 1 loss and being an SEC champion. But the loser of this game at worst drops to 3rd for me.
Big Ten, baby.
Yeah,
Big Ten action.
Yeah, I mean, it is. No matter what, it's must-watch TV. I think Ohio State, I like them in the matchup, but Indiana also has shocked us this year. They won a lot of those close games that we didn't expect them to. So it'd definitely be.
They were a sleeper for sure.
That, I mean, if you're available at 7 o'clock on Saturday and you have multiple TVs, at least get this one on one of them.
I think I might.
Yeah.
I think I might put this on one.
Yeah. So, but that was kind of what to look out for. And then going into next week, we will kind of break down, once we have the solidified top 12, we'll look at those matchups, and, that way we can kind of predict those for you guys, and hopefully maybe give you some insight on what to, maybe bet on, or what to look out for on that end, and hopefully help you out on that. So
boom.
Let's
talk some hoops.
Yes. So when we talk hoops here, obviously we don't necessarily know, as we're watching these, who's in, who's out.
Right.
These guys have been sitting randomly throughout the entire season. So we will kind of just highlight some matchups that we think will be ones to watch out for. Obviously, we'll always talk about the Timberwolves. They're going to go on the road and play a shorthanded Pelicans team, which they have already played on Tuesday. So they're playing them, back-to-back games, Tuesday and Thursday. That'll be one to watch. Obviously, we should get the dub here,
right.
Continue the momentum.
Let's hope so.
Hopefully we can continue on the winning streak. But also you'll have the Raptors hosting the Lakers. And the reason why I want to talk about this, the Raptors have been a team that have flown under the radar.
Really?
I believe they're 3rd or 4th in the Eastern Conference right now.
Wow.
And so the Lakers obviously have had a hot start to the season as well. I think they're 3rd in the West. So you're looking at 2 really top teams to start the season. So a game that we might have looked over when the season started is looking like, oh, that's a marquee matchup now. You got Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickly. Got a lot of these young players that are coming into their own. RJ Barrett, for the Raptors that have shown that given time and ability to gel together, they can put together a good roster and win some games.
Dang.
Yeah, and so as we transition to Friday, you have the Magic hosting the Heat, which those are 2 teams, I believe, 3rd and 4th in the East, that are around that range and just top teams. So just a good game to watch. Also, you have the oldest rivalry in basketball on Friday, the Celtics and the Lakers.
I always love watching those games.
Especially at TD Garden for me. It just brings that nostalgia. So, I mean, that'll be obviously one to tune into. It'd be
a little Boston game.
Be a little like Jaylen Brown versus Luka show. Nothing. I can't miss that one. That'll be a good one. The only thing that'll be tough is just making sure you get it on your TV with all the other games going on.
Why do you think they call them gardens out there on the East Coast?
I don't know.
Madison Square Garden and TD Garden.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
It must be something I don't know on that one.
It must be.
Yeah, I guess there is a few things I have no idea. And then you got the Rockets will host the Suns in the battle of two teams that have started off hot in the West. I mean, there potentially no Devin Booker. He's dealing with a groin injury, so that'd be something to monitor. But obviously KD traded from the Suns last year. Just want to highlight the fact he's playing his former team. Unfortunately, KD's been on like 4 or 5 teams now, so this happens more often than not, where he's playing a team he used to play for. But as we transition into Saturday, you have the Timberwolves will host the Clippers with a chance to just continue their winning ways. I'll be at this one. It'll be a good game. I mean, I think there's been some speculation and rumors that James Harden's on the trading block potentially for the Clippers. He's getting a little bit up there in age. I believe he's in his mid-30s. And, with a guy like that at that point in his career, he's kind of like in a win-now mindset. And because they're not in a win-now team,
right,
he's potentially a rumored Timberwolf. So this could be interesting.
What?
Yeah, he's kind of rumored to, be on a guy that the Timberwolves would be interested in as like that, point guard to kind of get us over that hump in the Western Conference. But I kind of like the idea of James Harden, although I'm not a huge James Harden fan. I like the idea of him.
I love his beard.
I mean,
kind of a beard guy.
Yeah, no kidding. But he would be a good fit for a team, especially because he's got a smaller contract.
Oh, sure.
So he's not like locked down like John Morant's locked down for like 4 years.
Right.
You're committing a lot of money to a guy for 4 years.
How much of a career do you think he has left?
James Harden?
Yeah.
I mean, the NBA is changing, but maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, that could be just enough to win 1 or 2 championships.
Right.
I mean, Anthony Edwards is in his window right now.
Listen, a championship's a championship.
Yeah,
it's
1 or 0.
0.
I mean,
we gotta get one.
We gotta get one. So he could be right in that window, and we have some young talent we could potentially trade to them that they'd be intrigued with because they're the oldest team in basketball.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. You'll also get the Cavs hosting the Warriors. Obviously, a very talented matchup, a lot of history here.
Yep.
These teams have played a lot of, NBA finals against each other. Obviously, the teams are a little bit different now, but either way, that'll be a good one to watch out. And then Sunday slate, they kind of just jam-packed you with basketball this weekend.
No doubt.
You have an early game, bright and early at like 11. I believe you got the Magic hosting the Hawks, I believe, or something like that.
Sure.
Or no, the Knicks. Knicks hosting the Magic, I think.
Oh, the Knickerbockers.
Yeah, the Knicks hosting the Magic. And then you also have the Raptors hosting the Celtics right thereafter at like 2:30, followed by the 76ers hosting the Lakers and the Bulls hosting the Warriors. Just a jam-packed slate of games on Sunday. Definitely ones to tune into. Hopefully Embiid plays in that one, so you can see a really big Embiid, Luka, LeBron matchup.
That'd be fun.
My question to you, I guess, is as we talk basketball, is do you think LeBron's washed?
Yeah.
He's looked really bad.
He's like this Blantons.
Yeah.
He's overhyped.
He's overhyped.
Overhyped.
This year, not his
right,
career.
No, definitely not his career.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me.
Don't
hear me
roast
correctly.
Him. Don't roast him.
Hear me correctly.
Yeah, don't roast him in the comments.
He is by far one of the most elite players in NBA history. Okay,
all right.
Not saying that at all. This year, he's overhyped.
Yes. Yeah, I do think so as well. I think the team has transitioned and they realize that the future is through Luka and Austin Reeves, and LeBron's going to be playing more of a complementary role this year.
Yep.
But if you really think about that, LeBron is your third option.
That's a nice third option.
Good.
That's a nice third option.
That's a really good third option, because given a situation where one of those guys goes down, he could probably find that special gear that not many people have. That I can take over still because I'm still one of the best players ever to play. So if he doesn't have to go out there and drop 30 points every night for them to win, that's good.
He's a very awesome third player.
Yeah, he's the best in the league at third player. If that's the case,
easily.
Yes. Not even close. And then lastly, on Monday, you have the Timberwolves hosting the Suns, and a chance to get one back after a tough loss to them earlier in that Commissioner Cup games. And it's really important for us to establish ourselves as a team that can beat these teams that are winning records. Because we've struggled against them so far this year. And if hypothetically, we'll see what happens with Devin Booker if he's going to be out for a little while. If you can play them without Devin Booker, you definitely need to win that game.
You want to know why? It's because of Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Okay. He's currently one of the senior advisors for the Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
So he's still there.
Yeah.
Making magic happen, baby.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks has been special this year. I mean, he was part of he's kind of like the fluff in the trade from that Rockets deal with KD, and Jalen Green was kind of the centerpiece, and he hasn't even played.
Right.
He's played like 3 games. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury all season. So, I mean, Dylan Brooks dropped 33 the other night. He's been dropping 25 a game since he's come back from his injury. So, I mean, if he continues on that tear, I mean, watch out. So, yeah.
It's time to back up just a little bit.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you know when Madison Square Garden was built?
Madison Square Garden.
This is a crazy one. Kind of blew my mind.
Okay, I'm going to go like 1910.
You're getting close. 1879.
Wow.
And it was built next to or near the space called Madison Square Park.
Yes, that I did know.
And so the term garden was used back then for entertainment venues to imply an open public space. And the tradition carried on for several arenas around the East Coast.
Wow.
So that's why they're called gardens.
There you go.
There you go.
The more you know.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, because if you go there now, I was just there this past year.
Yep.
It's this crazy, like, modern arena in the middle of the heart of this massive fucking enterprise city.
It's like towering skyscrapers all around you, and then boom.
Yes.
there's a little arena.
Yes. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But
no diggity.
Yeah.
But on to the old NHL. Something up here in Minnesota, the state of hockey, we got to talk about.
yeah.
We're inclined to and obliged to talk about it.
Plus, they're playing really good right now.
They really are.
Yeah,
the NHL's doing really good.
Yeah, the NHL's doing really good. They're talking about the viewership being up, which is good across the country. That means just more teams, better teams,
Right.
which is good. And then obviously you got the Wild playing really good. So here in Minnesota, exciting stuff. Don't know if they're Stanley Cup caliber team yet, but with the goaltending play that we've had so far, I mean, if they continue to play like that,
It's nice to have that back.
Yeah, you've had kind of two guys that have been rotating in and out, and one's been playing better than the other. Then you ride the hot hand.
Yep.
That's nice. So, but first off, you have the Wild going on the road against the Calgary Flames on Thursday. Definitely a game we should win here. Just in terms of strength of component, we're just a better team, top to bottom.
Yep.
You also have the Islanders hosting the Avalanche, and then I believe you have on Thursday, and so that'll be a couple games to watch out for sure. And then as you transition to like your Friday viewing for hockey, some big ones to look out for. You got the Devils hosting the Knights.
Who wins that one?
Ooh, that's tough, man. I'm gonna go Knights on this one. I like the home team. I do like the Devils a lot this year. I've been a Devils guy this year too, but
wow.
Yeah, I like the Knights.
I'm not sure I agree. Okay. Tune in next time.
Okay. And then you got the Stars hosting the Sharks and the Ducks hosting the Capitals. The Ducks have been the shocker team so far this year.
Yeah.
That was a team we didn't expect to talk about at all, and now I've talked about them on numerous occasions.
It's because of Gordon Bombay.
Yeah.
It's because, we live up here. This is where they're from.
Yes. But either
but
way,
not even.
Yeah. But anyway, they're playing really good this year, which is fun to see. Just that diversity in the NHL, having some teams in small markets that have played really well, which has been cool to see.
In southern markets too.
Yeah. Hockey doesn't have anything to do with where you're actually located weather-wise.
No, you could be in the middle of the desert and still have a hockey player
or
a hockey
two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, Florida Panthers. So. Yeah,
you could have a hurricane roll through, and then the next day go watch a hockey game.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of crazy. But as you continue on to Saturday, you have we'll go on the road against the Canucks, and then you also have the Bruins hosting the Devils, the Hurricanes hosting the Predators, and the Rangers hosting the Avalanche. So they got some really big games on Saturday.
Games.
Unfortunately, I'll probably be viewing wise locked in on other things.
Yeah.
Especially around the 3 to 10 p.m. windows.
There's quite a bunch of big
Football.
playoff things happening. Or not conference championships happening.
Playoff.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It implements the playoffs. It's like your last regular season matchup before the playoffs. So it has playoff implications. So
it's got that feel.
Yeah, exactly. And then on Sunday, you have the Flyers hosting the Avalanche. Hurricanes host the Sharks. The Ducks host the Blackhawks, and the Stars host the Penguins. A lot of great games there.
No doubt.
A lot of great games. Those are, I'd say, out of those 8 teams I just listed to you, Flyers have shocked some people.
Yep.
But I bet you 6 of those make the playoffs, which is crazy. That's a lot of high talented teams playing off right there. So that'll be a good one. And then lastly, you got on Monday, the Wild are on the road against the Kraken.
The Kraken?
The Seattle Kraken.
Wow.
Yeah.
That one might take the cake over the Mammoth now.
Yeah, for the name for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The Mammoth's pretty sweet.
The Mammoth's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet
Who
stuff.
would win in a fight, a Kraken or a Mammoth?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Whew.
I might go with the mammoth, but he's slow.
He's slow. Yeah.
Kraken might be able to just beat him on speed. That's like
Right.
the rabbit in the hare discussion.
Yeah.
You know, does the slow and steady win the race or the speed explosion?
There you have it.
Yeah.
Sports coming up this weekend. Let us know who you have your eye on. What's the game to be watching? In the comments below, let us know. Who should we be checking out? Also, let us know if you want some more in-depth coverage on any of these sports in their own episode.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll see what we can do to make that happen. Like always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.